Oh, shalom, shalom, my little dammits. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And you know, as a playwright myself, I wrote the wonderful play Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Me, which we just had the reading of at the Dramatist Guild Foundation, which we're very proud of. I love the theater, I love live entertainment, and I love talking with players and playwrights about the work that they do. And we have one on the telephone with us today. Her name is Wendy A. Schmidt, and she is the author of a new play called Maker of Worlds. This is apparently a zany biblical play, so count me in. By the way, this is Wendy Schmidt, who is not to be confused with the Google philanthropist, Wendy A. Schmidt, or doesn't have the A in the name. She is a Chicago playwright. Names of her plays include Marvelous Madeleines, Tornado Alley, The Newlyweds, and Veda in Time. She's also a freelance graphic designer and created this solo show that will be at Theater for the New City next week. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome and give a big shalom in the neighborhood to Wendy A. Schmidt. Shalom, Wendy.
Shalom.
How you
doing?
doing?
How are you?
Thank God. I've got the usual aches and pains and the hernia scar and all these things I'm dealing with. How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, we just got into town about 2 days ago on Wednesday, so we're just getting settled in. Yep.
Well, good. So you're mostly known in Chicago theater circles. How long have you been writing plays?
I've been writing plays for about 15 years.
Mit Mazel. So what gave you the impetus? What made you write that first play?
That it's funny. I always had this sense that I wanted to be a writer, and I started off writing like short fiction. And one day I had an idea for something that I wanted to write, and I thought I bet that would work as a play. And for some reason, this voice in the back of my mind was saying that would be cheating to write it as a play. That would be too easy. You can't do that. and then I was like, oh well, I'll try. I'll write it as a play anyway. And it was so fun. It just fit so well that I was like, oh, maybe it's not cheating. Maybe it's just fun. Maybe this is just the way I should be doing it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny because sometimes playwriting is easy, but a lot of times it's like any other writing. It's pulling teeth. It's pulling prostates. It's painful. Have all your plays been fun to write, or have you had the horrible moments too?
No, absolutely. No, the more you know about it, when you're a beginner, you don't know all the ins and outs of what makes plays work. As you learn, then you learn what you don't know.
Right. And you get deconstructed, which makes things actually work. Then there's a certain joy in writing things before you know what the hell you're doing, and you look into it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. It's beginner's luck. It's like, wow, I'm great. But you don't realize, and I didn't know anybody that wrote plays. I didn't know that you could, do stage readings, get feedback, and collaborate with other theater artists at that time. And when I did, it was like, wow, there's a language for talking about this and, way of making things work. That I realized how tough a craft it is. No matter how much experience you have, it's hard work, but rewarding. You can do things with it that I don't know. I just love the form, so I keep at it.
Well, let me ask: what were plays or musicals that you saw growing up, or before you wrote that first play? Because you must have seen some live shows living in Chicago. Yeah. What influenced you, or what just did you see that didn't necessarily directly influence your own work, but what were plays that made an impression on you? Yeah,
I always liked the absurdists, like Samuel Beckett and Harold Pinter, and I would just be attracted to them and not knowing why when they'd be running, without even knowing much about them. But I love that, and I remember a long time ago I lived in New York before I was writing plays for a year, and it was the very first time I ever saw an absurdist type work, and it was The Birthday Party by Harold Pinter, and at a small East college theater. I did, and I saw it. I was like, "What? You can do this? This is theater. This is great!"
Yeah.
It like blew my mind. And so that has always been an influence. I just like the playing with the logic.
Well, speaking of
that we live with.
absurdism and goofiness, your play, Maker of Worlds, sounds a bit nutty. So why don't you tell us what it's about?
It is pretty nutty. Well, it's a one-woman play. One actor plays 6 characters that are all interrelated in the story.
Are they in search of an author? No, they found you. Little joke there. Little absurdist joke. Go ahead, please.
Amy Gorelo is our actor, and she plays 6 characters over the course. Each scene, the scene changes, and she changes into a different character. And the first character that we meet is named Martha, and she kind of teaches the audience how to make different kinds of worlds with everyday household items that she has on stage, which is in the style of like a cooking show or something, but what they're making are great cosmic things. And during over the course of her monologue, you determine that she's like the Judeo-Christian God, because she has this regret that 5,000 years ago, when she destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, she accidentally killed her best friend. And so this is kind of the through line of the story, that she regrets this punishing, evil, but then having collateral damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
So then, in the following scenes, we meet other people that she has already kind of introduced, like her husband, who is this maniacal accountant, and her yoga teacher, and other characters.
Isn't the yoga teacher also something of a more than a yoga teacher?
Yes, more than a yoga teacher. She's actually Shiva in disguise, which is the Hindu god of the Hindu destroyer of evil. And she gives Martha pointers on how to combat evil without having unintended consequences. Yeah. Yes.
I know there are unintended consequences for sitting Shiva, but it's a rather different thing for my people there.
We did have a discussion about how to pronounce Shiva. I said Shiva or Shiva in a rehearsal. And I was like, I think it's Shiva.
You better do Shiva, or else it's going to get a whole different crowd, I got to tell you. So did you do this show in Chicago before? Mm-hmm. And how did it go?
Yeah, it went great. We had a workshop production in December at 3Cat Productions. It's a company that develops new plays, and it was sort of the reason I wrote this play in the first place was that Jerry is the director. Jerry Fredrickson is the director, and she had this opportunity to direct a one-woman play, and she said, "Do you want to write it?" And I was like, "Okay, I don't know how, but I will."
Well, isn't that neat that you at least know that you can write plays and someone's going to read them, someone's going to give them a workshop. Maybe it won't get to the level that yours is, where it's going to be done at Theater for the New City, but it's going to be like you're not in a vacuum. Somebody's asking you to write something, or somebody's going to read. Is that huge for you?
Yeah, it is. It's really inspiring. I mean, that motivates you, and especially if you have people that you like working with. But you might be sitting by yourself trying to think of what should I write about next. But this minute that there's a project like that, somebody asks you to do something, then you're like, you're motivated. Then you really, it helps me, it helps push me. But so we did a workshop production, and people really liked it. I wasn't sure how people would take it. I was like, this is so weird. Are they going to get it? Because it's very funny, but there's also some like profound and weird aspects to it, and everybody we had great responses to it. Yeah, they loved it. Well,
let me ask you, and I'm just wondering how these things work. Like you're talking, Amy Gorelo is the actress in the play. Now, in terms of just the putting things together like this, did the director have a casting call and choose the actress? Did you have any input in this? Was it her idea to have Gorelo? How did that work? We were real
collaborative from the start, since we knew that we were going to be working together before I'd even written it. And I'd never worked that way before. I've always written plays and then found directors, but we kind of combined our search for an actor with the developmental process, where she had actors in mind that she wanted to try, and so each time I had a new draft, we'd have a new actor read it, and we had probably 4 or 5 actors. Many of them wonderful. We asked a couple of them to do it, and they weren't available, and so we ended up having auditions though in September, and that was how we found Amy, who is like couldn't be more perfect. It was just by luck, that's how things happen. I think the best things happen sometimes by luck. So,
well,
she's perfect.
Let me ask you, because this is not your first play, as we've said, you have had a few of them. Is there a recurring? Maybe you don't think about it while you're writing, but are there themes and ideas and certain stylistic things that are thematic throughout your work that recur?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I write big, big style, and I feel like it's very physical, but and visual too, and sort of absurd. There's always that absurd, funny thing of how big the actors are on stage, and also there is a recurring theme of let's see. I mean, in this play, I wrote overtly about religion, but I think that's always an undercurrent, a thing that I'm writing about, because it was just a formative thing in my childhood. I was raised by a very conservative Christian family, and it was like this experience of everyone around you believing something very, very strongly, and then at a certain point in your life, you realize this is not true. This is not how everyone lives. Like,
wow.
The experience of being in a cult and escaping, and then being like, wow. So I'm always writing about situations where that everybody around you believes a certain thing, but it's really not necessarily true.
Well, let me. Was there a particular story or something that happened in Catholic or Christian school was there a moment of the break where you heard something and you're like, that's just ridiculous? Or was it more of an overall eventual just growing up?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a constant bombardment of ideas, like as far as as women had a role where they could not be like in leadership roles at all, and they were not encouraged to think or learn really, and just kind of it was really backwards. It was from several centuries ago, but now, but it was.
Well, let me ask you.
Just there wasn't one break, but the minute that I sort of like that whole time felt like it was my fault. I felt like, wow, what's wrong with me that I don't believe this? You know, I kind of have this secret inner thing of like, there's something wrong with me because everybody else seems to believe this.
In that community, in your family, and all. So were your family and your parents okay with your making that philosophical break from organized religion, or how did that work out?
Yeah, so it was when I moved away to college. Then I was like, oh, cool. There's other people in the world. Thank God, everybody's not like this. But it was just a joy. I've been so happy ever since. They don't really understand. But I mean, unlike other families, they still love me and they still participate. And actually, they're coming to see the show. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me ask you also. Are you an atheist then? What if anything do you believe?
No, I went through a period of time where I was an atheist. I experimented with that. I feel like that's a totally valid religious position that people go through. And I know a lot of great atheists. But I feel like I do practice a sort of loose spirituality, because I feel like it's a good thing to have a sense of mystery. I mean, there really is. How can you be certain about anything? The sense of mystery is an important thing. It's sort of miraculous that things are even here and this world is here, and that there's good people, even though things are pretty negative sometimes.
Yes.
But I feel like everybody religions, they all have different ways of talking about it. That's all. They have their own metaphors for it, and I think that's a cool thing.
Well, let me ask also, in terms of your being mostly a Chicago-based playwright and someone who deals in very kind of physical and wild and kinetic sort of theater. That's what Chicago was known for back in the 70s and 80s when people like David Mamet were coming through the floor and folks like that. So what is Chicago theater like now? Is there an aesthetic there now, or is it just kind of all over the place and you can't put your finger on it? What is it, Chicago style right now?
Well, that gritty Chicago realism style still persists. It's still a very important thing that people like to do, because it's still sort of a magnet. Like, if that's the kind of thing to do that you do and you live someplace else, you'll come to Chicago and write those kind of plays. It was something that there's a couple critics that like that kind of thing, and it was cultivated here. But there's much more diversity now. There's lots more like experimental things and immersive theater and all kinds. I mean, there's millions of little theaters forming every day, it seems like. So there's lots of variety. I feel like there's also a strain of political and kind of issue-oriented theater that's like a realist style. That's a big thing there. Maybe it grew out of the gritty Chicago style, I'm not sure. Which isn't really my thing. I mean, it's somewhat difficult for experimental people to find a audience there. There is that kind of thing going on, but it's somewhat more limited, I think, than places like here or.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because I have the impression, a lot of people, that Chicago, even though New York has Broadway, which nobody else really has except maybe the West End of London, that Chicago actually has more shows going on at any one time than New York. And that's really all over the place. I mean, a little storefront, 8 people in it, there's a show going on.
Yes. That's probably true. They're all over the map. I guess I'm talking more of the audience. I think the audience is just slightly less adventurous. They're pretty adventurous. It's such a great scene. I love it. But like the things that I've seen here and the things that people are all enthusiastic about often are like, oh, I wonder if that would go over here or not. Sometimes. I'm staying here in an ambiguous way because right now I'm in Jersey City.
Oh, wow. There you go. Well, here's the deal. When New Yorkers make fun of places, we make fun of New Jersey for various and obvious reasons. But we also get this impression, especially if you listen to some of the politicians and things, that Chicago is the Wild West, that everybody's getting shot a million times a day. No street is safe. Chicago is just this lawless hell. And is that not the right impression of Chicago at all?
No. But no, it seems really safe to me. I mean, to be clear, there are 2 different Chicagos, though, which is an unfortunate and just unequal and unfair thing, because on the north side, it's affluent and they get all of the resources, and I feel like the south side gets left behind by the system and however things have been set up. I'm hoping our new mayor is going to be able to change some of those dynamics, but
well, not because Rahm Emanuel was your mayor for a while, right? Or who were your mayors there?
Yeah, Rahm Emanuel was there for 2 terms, and really people were not happy with him at all. We were so hopeful because he was great as Obama's chief of staff, but he just had a style of that didn't allow for. He was kind of dictatorial, and also he's just not a great communicator.
So who is the new mayor? Who do you have there now?
And so this year we had a new election, and a newcomer, Lori Lightfoot, is the mayor, and
Lori Lightfoot, is she not like Pocahontas? She's an actual Indian person?
she's African American. She's our first African American
mayor of Chicago.
Yes, mayor of Chicago, and so yeah, and ran on a platform of changing the machine politics and the way things have always been done, which we just keep on getting establishment there that make it so that you can't change it. So I'm hopeful. I think it'll be good for the city.
We're talking with Wendy A. Schmidt. She is the author of a new play called Maker of Worlds that you can go see if you're in New York at Theater for the New City. They're over on First Avenue, like 155 First Avenue. So they're all the way down almost by the alphabets there. But it's as part of their Dream Up Festival that is happening September 2nd through the 7th. So you have a couple of opportunities to see this one-woman show. That if you want to find out more about it, go to makerofworlds.brownpapertickets.com. Sure, let's have a nice long URL that takes up half a segment. makerofworlds.brownpapertickets.com. And do you have a website? Do you have a place where people can find out about your other shows and all the stuff you're doing?
Yeah, they can also go to find out about, that's where you get the tickets. To find out about this play, they can go to makerofworldsplay.com.
Oh, good. Maker of Worlds Play, yeah.
Yeah, and on that website, there's links to my page, wendyashschmidt.com, and all kinds of other information about the play and about us.
Now, any writer is generally working on 2 or 3 or 4 things at once. What else? We also don't like to talk about things that aren't finished yet. But what else can you talk about that you're doing?
Yeah, I'm hoping to. I haven't done a thing this year because we've been producing this show, which has been really fun and enlightening. But I am thinking about what I'm going to write as soon as this is over. And I don't know. I have something in mind, perhaps having to do with technology and how technology is affecting our lives. I'm not totally sure. But like you say, try to talk about in specifics before this idea is formed.
But you mentioned that you've been dealing with the production of Maker of Worlds and bringing it to Theater for the New. So who's produced? I mean, does Theater for the New City, are they involved in any other way than giving you a stage and you guys had to produce it yourself, or how does that, or you have to pay to be in this festival? How does that work?
Yeah, in this case, it works similar to a fringe festival where they give us the space and the schedule and do marketing for us and do the ticketing and the box office. But we are producing it. Jerry Frederickson, the director, and I are producing it as far as all the other aspects.
So is there any way you can? I mean, because Theater for the New City is not a 1,000-seat hall. How do you make money, or you just hope not to lose a lot?
Yeah, no, we're hoping to break even more than anything. Yeah, no, it's not a matter. First of all, we wanted to make this play, and that's what we were motivated by. And I think that almost all theater is like that, where it's just like, do I think I'm going to make money on this? No, I just hope I don't lose money. Or I hope I don't go too much in the hole.
Subway fare, exactly. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying because it's the logistics of it. When you have to join a festival, and there's a certain upfront fee to be in the festival, and then there's a big outlay actually. And then you've got to pay, of course, for your own advertising and airfare and all this stuff. It adds up very quickly, and then you might have 120 people in the audience paying. Some of them not paying at all. Some of them paying $18 or whatever, and you're splitting that. There's nothing. It's a losing proposition, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, if you were going into it to make money, that would be it would be a lost cause.
I just wonder even if you go into it to break even, it feels like a lost cause. It's right.
Yeah. Kind of. I mean, theater is like one of those things that we need it and we love it, but it's not one of those things that the capitalist system supports and pays for. Some people have the impression that people make lots of money off of this, but it's hardly ever true, no matter what kind of theater you are.
No, it's not. But so you do. Your other job is that you're a graphic designer.
Yes, that's right.
So is that? But is that you're freelance? I mean, how do you feed yourself? How do you have a roof over your head?
Oh, graphic design.
Oh, okay, so you get enough
Pretty
gigs.
well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have regular clients. I try to get like regular clients that are larger, companies or organizations that, like that side of my life. I'm not taking very many economic risks.
No, good. I mean, but it does interest me because for the most part, it seems like the two different sides of the brain that people are dealing with. Because if you're a writer, the other side, the drawing and the graphic and the sculpture side is generally not so developed, or vice versa. If you're a singer or musician, those tend, you get the Tony Bennett's, you get the Dylans, and they want to be visual too. But it's a little unusual, I think, for someone who's working with words to be so talented with the graphic arts.
Yeah, I don't know. It is kind of weird. I know a couple other writers that also do graphic design. What I like about it is that they're so different that it's not like they offset each other. If I've been doing a bunch of design work, then it's fun to go back to writing, and if I've been doing a lot of writing, then it's kind of a relief. I don't know how weird that is. I don't know. I feel like the arts are all related, though. In some way, one translates into the other. I know some actors that started painting and are great painters. I'm like, that is so funny how that's connected. It seems like it would be so dissimilar. But
well, let me remind people one more time that Wendy A. Schmidt is the author of Maker of Worlds, which you can go see at Theater for the New City's Dream Up Festival from September 2nd through the 7th. Theater for the New City, and it's makerofworldsplay.com to find out all about that play, and also links to Wendy's own site and other works. Last question for you, Wendy, because I just love, even though I've never been there, I love this name of a place in Italy called Umbria.
Yeah.
Would you say it with me, please? Umbria.
Umbria.
Well, you went to Umbria. What the hell was there?
What did you say?
Didn't you go to Umbria?
Yes. Yeah. It was for the La Mama International Playwrights Retreat. I went to the 2017 one, and it was a life-changing experience.
Wow.
They do a great job, and yeah, it was just 10 days in. Well, Umbria is kind of in the hill country northeast of Rome. And we stayed in La Mama owns it's a building. They think that it might have been a convent. They're not totally sure. And 18 playwrights staying. We had a playwright that led the workshop, Eric N., who is well known for being such a wonderful teacher. He was.
Who is this?
Yeah, he was life changing.
Who again? Who?
Eric N.
Oh, Eric N. Yeah, I thought you said Eric E-H-N. Eric N. Yep. Yes.
Yep. And yeah, we just he every day we did exercises. It was far less about like how to make a good play, or like how to like, we didn't read each other's plays and comment on them. He just gave us this like treasure trove of exercises to get your creative juices flowing, and to think about creativity and writing as opposed to the products, as opposed to like I'm trying to make this kind of play and make it good. And it was like thinking about it backwards like that was really productive for me anyway.
I can see. I mean, because people are gonna, you're gonna get criticized. You can get people. Do you read? Let me ask. Do you read reviews? Of your own, I mean.
Do I read what?
Reviews when your shows are done. Do you read the critics?
Oh, yeah. I have a friend who I have read them first, and tell me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just kind of scope it out, and then it's not something that I want to do while the show is going on, because I don't know what's. It can be break your confidence.
Yeah. Or you start, especially as an actor, it's not even that, you start to focus on things that you weren't even thinking about, good or bad, and you start to push moments that were working, because somebody told you, "Ooh, that really was good." So you start to think, "Ooh, I gotta keep doing that," and then you get into a repetitive staleness, trying to recreate what was organic because someone told you it was really good. You just have to keep your head away from all of that, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That would totally. I can totally see how that would affect an actor's process. I mean, yeah. So I'm not actually acting, but yet,
Right.
because yeah, something that I will read later on though. Since I'm doing.
Yeah. So last question for Wendy A. Schmidt. You mentioned that your favorite playwrights have included Beckett and Harold Pinter. Do you have a favorite play of all time?
Wow. That's a good question. What would it be? I just recently saw this production of Certain Wilder's By the Skin of Our Teeth, and it was such an amazing play. I wasn't familiar with it before, and it was like it's my favorite play right now, I think.
No, it would appeal to you because it's such a weird. It goes through it's sort of ancient times with dinosaurs, but it's kind of modern. It's got the biblical Cain and Abel thing going on. It's a very strange play.
Yes.
And it's hard to make work. I've never seen it actually work, but it's always an interesting play. Yeah, you know.
Right. I was lucky enough to see a good production of it. I heard that same thing. It's like nobody produces this, and I can see why it would be so hard.
But I can see why it would appeal to you, Wendy A. Schmidt, with your nonlinear kind of weird and goofy and zany, but also somewhat dark and sociological playwriting. If you want to go find out more about the thinking and writing of Wendy A. Schmidt, go see her play Maker of Worlds as part of the Theater for the New City's Dream Up Festival coming up this very week off Broadway. Well, it just remains for me to say thank you so much, Wendy A. Schmidt, for joining us in the neighborhood. We wish you much more success with your writing and your designing. And if you happen to think of getting a little more God in your life and turning Jewish, give me a call.
I will. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much, and shalom to you.
Shalom.
Wendy A. Schmidt, ladies and gentlemen, here in the neighborhood. Delightful to talk to a creative person, a playwright, who thinks a little bit outside the box, as I think sort of outside the matzah box, if you think about it, folks. And really, you shouldn't. Let's just play my theme music so I can get out of here and bring Dave back into his show.